Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed your Thursday because I sure as hell did not enjoy my Thursday night. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and this is my BKN Game Recap, and what can I say after tonight? What else can I say? Once again, the Nets had a 6-point lead towards the end of the game. After they were trailing by 13, they actually had themselves a really impressive third quarter where they were able to get the lead all the way up to 6. And then Tyrese Maxey, who's been having an absolutely terrific series so far, as well as Tobias Harris, they both got it going in the fourth quarter. But this game was just, first off, the refereeing in this game was awful on both sides. I mean, the blatant calls, some non-fouls. This was a horrendously ref game tonight by the entire officiating crew. They should all be looking themselves in the mirror and really just being like, maybe we should just give away our game checks. Now, that might be a little bit harsh, but I don't care at this point. There were some ejections out of this game because this was a physical. This is what you expect in an NBA playoff game. This is as physical as a game could be. Technical fouls all over the place, personal fouls. Both the Nets and the Sixers lost a key player in this game. Nicolas Claxton was ejected in this game after a taunting foul over on Joel Embiid on a dunk, and then as well as a technical foul he had earlier when he got hit in the nuts, but he stepped over Joel Embiid, which Embiid got a flagrant 2. And James Harden was ejected when he elbowed Royce O'Neal in the Beans and Frank earlier on in the game. So both teams lost a key player in this contest. This was a physical game, up and down. But when it came down to it, the Sixers have the type of players on their team that know how to finish games. And I get it. Fans are going to say, they're not ready. They're not ready. They're not ready. I understand that. Sometimes I think it's an excuse, but I understand. They're just not ready. Tonight, the Nets looked like a team that was ready right until the end. And then they froze up. Couldn't make shots. I'm going to get to the bench because I have a lot to say about that bench. And in what has been a prototypical, in what's been like the cherry on the top of what a Nets season has been like all year. Royce O'Neal, down by 3, inbounds the ball and doesn't even throw it near his teammates. And the 76ers run in for a dunk, and the Nets lose 102-97. Maxey was terrific tonight. 10 of 17, he had 25 points. Embiid, he had 14 and 10. And Embiid didn't have a really strong game tonight. Tobias Harris had another good game for the Sixers. He had 15 and 7 rebounds. James Harden had 21 before he got ejected. Off the bench, D'Anthony Melton made some big shots for them. He had 13. Jalen McDaniels, Georgie Niang, and Paul Reed also made some nice plays. Sixers ended up shooting from the floor 49% from the court, 42% from the three-point line. They made it to the line 13 times, made 9 of them for 69%. They had 46 rebounds, 11 of them offensive. 15 assists with 5 steals and 3 blocks. Joel Embiid having one of the biggest blocks of the entire night at the end. They turned the ball over 14 times and committed 17 personal fouls. Now I'm going to get to my team, which once again, we got horrendously out-rebound. Nets. Mikal Bridges scored 26 points, but he had a terrible shooting night again. 9 of 26 for 26 points. He did have 5 of 6 and 6 rebounds, and he only did turn the ball over once. Cam Johnson had 17 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, 4 assists and 5 rebounds. Dorian Finney-Smith. Offensively, he's been a ghost. A ghost. But defensively, he played pretty solid. I will say that. He was fighting over the loose balls. He played pretty good on defense, but offensively, he's like a dark hole on this offense. And Claxton, I will give my respects to Claxton and Dinwiddie. Before Claxton committed his ridiculous thing he did play a pretty decent game tonight. And I mentioned earlier on in my video, Claxton and Dinwiddie needed to be the two guys that had to step up today. I mentioned it yesterday. They both did. Dinwiddie, I thought, had a pretty solid game too. He did turn it over 3 times, but he did score 20 points and 7 assists. Though he was 8 for 10 from the free throw line, he was 5 for 12 from the court. Dinwiddie, I thought, had a pretty solid game. Defensively, at times, some things to be desired. But Claxton was a little bit too foolish. Claxton got a little bit too much ahead of himself. And I understand refs need to let some of these things go. But you know for a fact after what happened earlier in the game with the Joel Embiid incident, you know for a fact the refs were looking at you to try to make a call. And one of the last things you want to do is get a negative reception from the NBA and from the league that you're going to be one of those guys that's going to showboat. Because right after that, Claxton showboated after a dunk. And he got teed up and he was ejected from the game. And in a way that could have hurt the Nets. But my biggest issue with this team is the bench. The bench tonight, once again, the bench was invisible. They actually dusted off Cam Thomas in this game. He had 6 points. He had a turnover. He was 3 for 6 from the field. He played all of his 11 minutes pretty much in that first half. Thomas gave them a little bit of a spark offensively. Day'Ron Sharpe played 2 minutes. Why didn't he play more? Especially when Claxton got hurt or was ejected. Why didn't he play more? Royce O'Neal. While I appreciate Royce O'Neal, and I do like Royce O'Neal a lot as a player, his offense has just been offensive, to say the least. His offense has been incredibly offensive. 1 for 5 from the three-point line, and I'm surprised he hit the 1 because he was wide open. 2 for 7 from the field. He did have 6 rebounds, and he did play some solid defense. But he is another one that has been a black hole in this team. And Joe Harris, I love you, Joey Buckets, but sayonara. Time to get you off this team. And Seth Curry did not even play. But I don't even care at this point. Curry, to me, is another Joe Harris. It's 2 straight games that Harris got no points. This bench has been absolutely it's like a black hole of like abyss. It's like a black hole of just horrendous basketball. I mean, this is honestly, I can't say it's a disgrace, but tonight was just absolutely infuriating what I had to watch tonight. It was infuriating to watch this. And now the Nets are down 3-0. And even the most optimistic of Nets fans, even a Nets fan who's thinking the pie in the sky attitude, how the hell can you be having any type of excitement now going into the series knowing that you're down 0-3 with an elimination game happening on Saturday? Sure, they could prolong the series, but at this point, does it matter? Do you as a Nets fan believe that this team can come back being down 3-0 and win? I don't. They had their chances in Game 2 and in Game 3, and they couldn't get it done. They spit it up. Especially tonight. They had their chances, and they just couldn't do enough to pull out the victory. This was your chance to make this a series. And at least make Game 4 interesting. It's not interesting anymore. It's over. It's over. I would be shocked right now if the Nets don't go down 0-4. And they get swept again for a second straight year. So, It just sucks. But team, obviously, my good buddy who I was talking with, Adam Costas, they're not ready. I don't want to hear that excuse right now. I really don't. But a team that just did what they did tonight, they're not ready. They're not ready to win. And they showed it tonight. They are not ready to win. I like Mikal Bridges a lot, but I don't think he's a number one scorer. I think he's a terrific player. I like Cam Johnson too. I hope both these guys are part of the future of this team going forward. Claxton, I love Claxton, but he needs to do a better job, not doing what he did. But Nets are going to have a very interesting offseason because they have a lot of veterans on this team. Watanabe, Harris, O'Neal, Sumner, Mills, Curry, Finney-Smith, Dinwiddie, Bridges, Johnson, even Claxton. Is it inconceivable that this Nets team could look a lot different going into next year? The Nets really have to figure out now. I know they're still not eliminated yet, but I'm already thinking off-season in my mind. Nets have to think about right now, what is the best course of action to go in this offseason? Because you look at the talent on this roster, and they're full of a lot of guys that can play one side of the court, but they can't play both. And it's really going to be interesting how the Nets are going to gauge this offseason. How they're going to put it together. This was a very, very difficult loss to cope with. I got all my anger out during the stream. But this was a very, very difficult loss to cope with because of the fact that we had this game under control and the Nets just couldn't do enough. They spit it up at the end. And now we're down 0-3 with our game number 4 this Saturday at Barclays Center at 1 p.m. And that could be it. That could be the end of the series. That's my BKN Game Recap. I'm sorry. Brooklyn loses this game by the final score of 102-97. And they're down 0-3 in the series. Hit that like button if you haven't already and give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news, updates, chatter, and game recaps surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And let me know in the comment section what you thought about tonight's disaster, tonight's epic fail, tonight's colossal collapse, tonight's abysmal ending, tonight's choke, whatever else you want to call it, because that's exactly what it was. Let me know in the comment section how you felt. Be honest. At this point, be honest how you feel and how you're feeling about going into Game 4. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Take it easy, and I have to say it because I'm a Nets fan. Let's go, Brooklyn Nets. I still love these guys. I still love this organization, but man, do they know how to dish out punishment sometimes to their fan base. Let's go, Brooklyn Nets. It's a Nets world, and we're all just living in it.